The hub.
Juneteenth is right around the corner, but it doesn't seem like there's much to celebrate. Not much has changed. Mass incarceration of black people and the constant police killings of unarmed black men are the result of the relationship between law enforcement and the black community being rooted in slavery. The introduction of law enforcement was made during slavery between slave and overseer. If we stepped out of line or when something went wrong, the overseer punished you and then sent you to the big house for further punishment. Then when slavery was abolished, black codes and Jim Crow laws allowed police, which was made up of mostly ex-Confederate military men, to oversee and penalize the behavior of black people. So again, we have bitter, power-hungry, racist white men who just lost the Civil War in charge of policing us. Black codes were behavior laws that allowed blacks to be fined or jailed for things like loitering, not having proof of employment, or quitting a job. And white civilians were encouraged and even paid for their participation in getting us in trouble. Section 7 of the Mississippi Black Codes read, "Every civil officer shall and every person may arrest and carry back to his or her legal employer any freedman, free Negro, or mulatto who shall quit the service of his or her employer before the expiration of their contract or for quitting without good cause." This law gave whites the emboldened caucasity that we see so prevalent in Barbecue Becky and her homegirl Karen. With their overwhelming desire to assist the police in upholding the law and policing our behavior.
Or, I mean, like, what is with this?
There's laws about this park, and
I know the laws about this park.
And charcoal grills are not allowed here.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
And with black codes in effect, we also had apprentice laws. After they took you to jail, apprenticeship laws allowed the courts to place your children back into the care of your former slave owner, where they would be forced into unpaid labor, as long as it was seen as the best interest of the child. And even though black codes started in the South, Los Angeles police recruited ex-military from the South to come here and police us as well. Then we had Jim Crow laws until 1967, but at this point, this is the system. Police trained to see black people as targets. No, literally, police officers are known to use mugshots of black people for target practice. In 2015, when it was discovered that the North Miami Police Department was using mugshots of black men for sniper practice, it broke major news. However, North Miami Police Chief J. Scott Dennis responded by saying that his department, and I quote, could have used better judgment, but denied any racial profiling. He said the department uses pictures of all races for target practice. But with blacks and Latinos being overly represented in our criminal justice system, what race do you think is going to be used for target practice the most? We were dehumanized in the formation of police forces, which in the South centered around the preservation of slavery. And we continue to be dehumanized because, as we know, the way you train is the way you respond, with the end result being the same: blacks always on the losing end of justice. As you can see, the mentality hasn't changed, and that's the scary part. Because as long as a white officer is in uniform, they're protected. And I say white because of that one time that black officer accidentally killed that white woman. They took that nigga straight to jail. People of color are not represented fairly in our government or the judicial system. And as a result, we've become the casualties of the system at an alarming rate. As a people, we've been conditioned to look at law enforcement as the ops, and we don't want any part of it. But that's the problem. We need to be a part of the system in order to change it. This means more community policing, more of us as lawyers, politicians, judges, and prosecutors. Yes, I said prosecutors. Did y'all know that the DA is the most powerful person in the courtroom, even more so than the judge? When the DA gets a case, they have the authority to reject and toss it out. We need that kind of power. Right now, we aren't being counted, and based on our contributions, we should be able to comfortably call ourselves American. But black lives don't matter here. So we have a choice to make. We need to either be a part of this country's system and the government, or we need to go start our own. Unify, define ourselves, and change the system.
Because in order to truly have change, there must be a dialogue. Dialogue between the community, elected officials, and law enforcement agencies. Until we bridge the gap with policy change, absent of loopholes to extort, we'll continue to find ourselves stuck in this dark and dangerous cycle. The revolution we seek is not an overnight process. We're playing the long game. We will not forget, we will not quit until we see change. And even then we will continue. Because until there is justice for us, there will be no peace.